What's going on, everybody? It's Zack Williams back with another episode for the Men in Uncaged. This is, clearly the journey to the top 1%, and how do we get there by becoming 1% better. And man, I'm fucking frustrated, dude. There's just been a lot of things that's kind of led up to this, and honestly, I had a completely different idea of like what type of podcast I wanted to bring to the table for this week, and it's just kind of been derailed. Like I've just seen sign after sign after sign that something like this needs to be put out there. And I don't like time stamping these episodes, so I'm not going to go too far into it. But if you're watching these live as they come out week over week over week, you obviously know the fucking statue of the world, or at least America that we're in right now. But obviously, this has been something that's, like I said, there's been sign after sign, and I feel like just the straw that broke the camel's back has been multiple things that have led up to, the aggression that you're hearing on this episode. But dude, fucking men, or lack there fucking of. It hasn't actually been released yet, but the last quarterly retreat for the Men in Uncaged in Scottsdale, Arizona, Dr. B was there and sitting on the panel, and in the promo video, the first fucking voice clip that comes out is him talking about, the lack of men in this world. And, that led into, we had an extremely interesting roundtable call this week, which led immediately into an expert call we had this week all about mental health with men and stuff like that. And there's just been sign after fucking sign after fucking sign. And things have been showing up of just the lack of fucking men in this country. And I would say that this episode's going to hurt some people's fucking feelings. But if I'm being honest, those pussies aren't even going to hear this content. So whereas I just want to bring the hyper opposite of that, is like, fuck them. Fuck those pieces of shit. Fuck those guys that pretend to be fucking men. Whereas the men that are listening to this episode, what can we do to be fucking better? Because now we got to make up for the lack of fucking men that are in this country. And I'll just give you like a brief example, dude. I've moved to Florida now. Some of y'all know that. And I'm experiencing things like my algorithm, my social media, just Bader Madoff phenomenon. Like I'm paying attention to different things that I didn't when I lived in Louisiana or Tennessee. One of which that's popped up in my sharks or popped up in conversation or become a way more thought-provoking concept now that I actually live here, taking my daughter and my family to the fucking ocean. Shark attacks, right? Now, obviously, sharks are fucking badass. Sharks are incredible creatures, and quite frankly, ones that I don't really want to fuck with. I've gone and swam with them in the Caribbean. That was cool when I wanted to do it. I've actually seen some in their natural habitats when I really didn't want to see them. Haven't seen any here. However, these videos keep popping up of shark sightings, shark attacks, whether that's on our coast or on the West Coast or whatever the case is. But because I live by the ocean now, I pay a little bit more attention to it to see what things are being said, what's going on, what's the context of this video. And bro, it's fucking disheartening, dude. I sit here and watch a group of people, strangers or whatever, out there just enjoying themselves. Obviously, one person freaks out, and then everyone starts freaking out when they see a shark. And so then you start to see groups of people stampeding and evacuating the waters, and grown can't call them men, grown motherfucking boys running past fucking children, dog. What kind of sick fucking fucked up human do you have to be, especially as a fucking man, you fucking pussy, to watch out for yourself, care for yourself, versus watching out and caring for someone that is otherwise defenseless, can't move as fast as you, isn't as strong as you, doesn't have the cognitive bandwidth to maneuver as well as you do, to fucking run past a fucking child. And it just leads to, this is just one fucking example. But this week, it's been huge on my mind. I mean, for those of you, you haven't seen it yet. at the time of the recording airs, you may have, but we got our quarterly retreats. This last one for the Men in Uncaged in Scottsdale, Arizona. Dr. B was, on the panel speaking to all the men that were in attendance, and part of his voice clip got thrown into the promo video, and it's the first fucking one, and it's perfect. It couldn't get any better. But it's him. I'm gonna wait for you to watch that video to hear the full context. But it's him talking about the pressure of having men in a world that doesn't have men in it anymore. Like, where is that separation threshold of like what the fucking world thinks takes to be a man and what it really fucking takes to be a man? To uncage that fucking inner beast. So like I said, man, like, the people that probably should fucking hear this or that would ruffle their fucking feathers, they're probably not consuming content like this, because this is real fucking shit that's going to make you self-reflect. It's going to hold up a big goddamn mirror right in front of your fucking face and make you look yourself in the fucking eyes and ask yourself, are you a fucking man or are you a fucking pussy? And this goes in all areas of life. I had different idea of like what I was going to come on this, episode with. It's just been sign after sign after sign where it's like, dude, we got to just fucking talk about being men. Right? You might be questioning yourself right now. Like, am I a fucking man? If you're asking yourself that question, that means that there's fucking signs and areas where you could grow a pair and act a little fucking bit tougher, dog. I'm not saying you can't show emotions. I'm not saying that you can't be feminine around your wife. I'm not saying that you have to walk around with this. And y'all know me, I'm not about this like alpha male fucking like self-proclaiming yourself as a fucking alpha. The best fucking way to tell me that you're a fucking beta ass fucking pussy ass male is to fucking tell me that you're an alpha male. But regardless, you don't have to fucking sit here and pretend that you have to live up to these glorified standards that social media has said this is what makes you an alpha male or not. I'm not saying any of that. But there is shit in the back of your head right now that you're thinking of like, man, I fucking should have done that, but I didn't. I wish I would have done that sooner, but I procrastinated. I wish I could fucking do this better, but I never gave it the attention that it deserves. There's shit that's going on in your head. That's that separation of like what the fucking world would consider you as a man and what the world needs to be considered a man is understanding the difference. Motherfuckers out here want to be men on fucking social media. But they don't want to be a fucking man in real life. It's easy to fucking post up a clip here and there of you pretending to be a fucking man. Meanwhile, in real life, you're a miserable piece of shit because you don't know how to follow through with anything that you fucking say you're going to do. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to your wife. You're lying to your fucking children. You're lying to your coworkers or your employees. You're a fucking pussy, dog. What kind of a man? How do you consider yourself to even think about classifying as a man when you can't follow through on anything that you fucking say? When you can't protect the ones around you? When you can't step up in time of fucking need? Fight or flight. Man, we haven't seen the world change as much as other generations have. If you're listening to this, there's obviously a wide range of personalities, personas, just life experiences, careers of men in Uncaged. And obviously, if you're listening to this episode, you and whatever ecosystem you run with. However, what we have seen in the past is men being motherfucking men, stepping up when it's fucking necessary. And sometimes necessary doesn't always have to be shown, doesn't always have to be put on display on social media. So while others think that what makes them a man is what everyone else fucking thinks about them because of the highlight reel that they see, isn't what really makes them a man. What really makes them a man is how do they act behind closed doors? What is it that they, sorry, all right, we're gonna get a little bit into some of this. This week on the roundtable call, one of our guys fucked up, and we still love him. We're still here to support him in his growth. Now, if he doesn't take the advice that was given and starts fucking off and doesn't give it all, it's a different conversation. I'm praying and hoping and sitting and watching that that's not the case. But he fucked up. And the type of group that Uncaged is, in the process of him explaining himself and the situation, he got told he was fucking wrong. He got called out for making excuses. Everything he started talking about, it was why he did what he did instead of swallowing the pill and saying, yeah, I fucked up. That was my fault. I could have done things differently. I could have done things better. So he was trying to let himself off the hook. That ain't fucking how men operate. Not a real man. Now, I'm not saying that all of us were born as real men. You have to learn this. So I'm not degrading him because hopefully he has turned this situation into a learning lesson and now is a motherfucking man. He's a younger guy, so we're not knocking it. But this was an opportunity for him to grow into a fucking man. Because real life fucking hit him like a goddamn ton of bricks. Some of that was self-inflicted. Some of that was 100% his motherfucking fault. And is now what he has to deal with. But there's two options. You take the pussy way out, blame everyone else, blame your past, blame your parents, blame your previous traumas, blame other people. Or you can look into here and realize, where did you fuck up? You can control the controllables. When you ended up in a shitty situation, doesn't always mean that it's other people or other circumstances. There were controllables inside of that you could control, but you weren't man enough to, and that's why you're sitting where you are right fucking now. So now what do we do to get past that? You got to take a look at it. And you have to, there's no growth until you realize that you are the problem, that you were the problem, that you created this fucking mess. Extreme ownership. You put yourself in the wrong situation. You made the wrong decision. You reacted incorrectly. You can't control what anyone else does. You can only control how that affects you. Why are you giving someone else the keys to be able to control you? Oh, well, they did this, so I did this. Fuck you. Why? Just because someone else acted like a motherfucking idiot does not give you the rights to do so. You still have to operate as a motherfucking man. Man to man, woman to man, child to man, boss to man, client to man, whatever the case is. What is it that you can do to be better, to be a better man with any circumstance that you're dealing with? Part of this as well, roundtable call, super into this. Expert call, straight back fucking into it. Literally, the next day. Roundtable calls are on Tuesdays. Expert calls are on Wednesdays, so we're right back into it. Mental health when it comes to men. And part of that conversation is it's literally your responsibility to understand you. Talked about it at the last quarterly retreat. Talked about it several times since then. Talked about it on the expert call last night. It's your responsibility to understand how you operate. We spend all this other time trying to figure out other things. Shit that we want to do, right? You want to build a business? There's parts of the business you don't know how to do. You're going to go fight tooth and fucking nail to figure it the fuck out. you want to ask this girl to marry you. You're going to go fight tooth and fucking nail to figure out how to be the person that she wants to marry. You're going to go figure it out. You want to learn how to take in a trade or have a skill set. You want to learn how to race cars. You're going to fight tooth and nail to figure out how to race cars to the best of your abilities. You want to learn how to build motors, build buildings, build whatever the case is. You're going to go and fight tooth and nail to figure it out. But we don't fight tooth and nail to figure ourselves out. We don't fight tooth and nail to build ourselves up mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, whatever it is. We're willing to go do this for other people. I talked about this a long time ago. I haven't mentioned it in a while. I used to joke around. There was a video game. I think it was like one of the Grand Theft Autos or something, right? And you could obviously build your character however you wanted. And then throughout the game, if you wanted to have like a more buff character, you could go to this gym inside the game and you literally just like sit there and like push fucking buttons and do stuff that's time consuming to increase the build of your character. It's literally just time consuming bullshit, right? And if you were to take into consideration the amount of time that you play the game that day versus the amount of time that you spent in the game, in that gym, doing just nothing more than just time consuming. It didn't take a thought process or a skill set or anything. You just pushed a couple of buttons or moved a joystick around, whatever. But if you look at in comparison to how long you played that game, whether it be that day, that week, that month, or the lifetime that you found interest into that game, and how much time you spent inside that gym doing brainless activities just to make the character on a game in a third dimension, third dimension, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? And you look at the percentage of that time that you wasted building the physique of this character. But yeah, in real life, we don't do that. In real life, we make excuses. We don't have enough time to dedicate to that, or I was too busy, or this or that. That doesn't necessarily mean got to be physical. But if you're sitting here looking at some of these guys that are running multi-million dollar a year businesses and wondering what the difference between you and them is, because if I'm being honest, I really don't know any. There might be one person that got a leg up from their parents that like I really, really, really like talk to on a daily basis that's running a massive organization right now. All the other guys, they earned it. They built it. They're first generations. They're trailblazers. And so if you want to compare apples to apples and you're looking at those guys, well, how could they fucking do it but I can't? You've got to look at what sacrifices that they made. And I'm not saying life has to be fucking hard, but they, as a motherfucking man, saw that there was something they didn't have, some skill set, some amount of knowledge or information or connections or relationships, and they went and fucking earned it. That's what makes them who they are. That's what separates the two. They saw something that they needed. They went and fucking made it. You see something that you need, and you're like, man, fucking, I wish. What if? Must be nice. That's the difference. So, like, what is it that you're dealing with right now that you're making fucking excuses for? That's what makes you a weak bitch. It has nothing to do with anything else than your mindset. You can't say, I want something, and say you desire it bad enough to go fucking earn it, to go make it reality. You can't fuck your wife the same, dog. There's two different fucking types of fucking your wife. There's the version of yourself that keeps making fucking excuses, keeps whining and complaining about the cards he got fucking dealt, keeps bitching about the uncontrollables. And there's the motherfucker that fucks your wife that controls the controllables, that focuses on where he needs to improve and goes and fucking earns it. That's two different fucking men, dog. It's two fucking different men. You can't tell me that there's not. So what is it that you, and I'm talking about everything, you personally, you show up to yourself. There's no way, there's shit that I didn't want to fucking do today. I fucking did it. Because I know as a motherfucking man that I have to do it to continue being a fucking man. Because that affects how I show up in every fucking aspect of my life. This podcast wouldn't be as fucking good if I made excuses for that shit earlier today. If I did not follow through with the shit that I fucking told myself I was going to do. This episode recording right now. I could have recorded this tomorrow. But fuck that. I told myself it needs to be done today. So we're fucking doing it. That's the version of a man that I want to be. That says he's going to do something and fucking does it. That allows me to show up to you right now in front of you as a motherfucking man. When I leave this studio, it means I go home and I fuck my wife as this kind of a fucking man that says what he's going to do and does it. This is the kind of man that's going to show up in front of my fucking daughter and be a daddy that's worth being considered a fucking man. When I walk around out in the world and other people fucking see me, head up, shoulders back, chest out, because I'm a motherfucking man. I ain't scared of shit. I'm not worried about shit. I'm focused on the fucking prize, which is becoming 1% better fucking daily. If I don't fucking do that, then we have a problem. I don't fucking do that, that's when anxiety kicks in. I don't do that, that's when depression kicks in. I don't do that, that's when the lousy fucking of my wife comes in. When I don't do that, that's when the lousy piece of shit version of a fucking dad I am to Lottie. When I don't do that, that's when I fail every one of you motherfuckers when it comes to building Uncaged. Because I couldn't follow through with the shit that I knew I needed to do. And it affects everything. I don't give a shit what it is. You want to clean up your house and get the landscaping done? I fucking hate mowing yards. It's not me. Ain't me. But if that's something that you told yourself that you need to get out there do, clean up the flower beds, cut the grass, make the curb appeal for the house better. It's literally your responsibility to do it. No, control the controllables. If it's me, I said I was going to do it, I'm going to get it done. I'm calling someone to do it. Because I don't like that shit. I know that about myself. But it still is something that needs to be done. It's still something that I addressed that is something that has to happen. So I control the controllables. I control calling a motherfucker and saying, hey, I need you to come do this. Whatever it is. Taking the trash out for your wife. Doing the dishes. Taking the dog out for a walk because the fucking dog needs it. I look back on my life and there's people that I know that do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. And then I know that there's people out there that I know that don't. When I go to call someone or ask something of someone, I know what kind of man they are. And it all comes down to the actions that they've shown me in real life. Because you can tell me you're a fucking man all you want. But if you're out here beating your chest, claiming I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, and your actions don't prove it, I won't call you again. There's people that I grew up with or people that I have learned to understand in my adult life that when I first met them, yeah, let's do this. We're gonna kill it, bro. We got this. We're gonna get there. Yada yada. Talk. Social media, it's fake. They're out here just trying to prove to themselves by proving to the world that they're a fucking man. They're looking for all the answers and all the recognition by putting out this fake fucking persona, trying to fake it till they make it, because they want other people to think that they're a man, because they think that's going to make them feel like a man. I don't call them anymore. There's not a question that I can ask them that I trust will get accomplished, because they've proven to me over and over and over. They just want that feel good. When I ask them for something, they want the feel good of saying yes. Because that, in their mind, makes them feel good to be able to say yes to everyone. But then they say yes to everyone, and then they deliver for no one. They get overwhelmed because they don't have the ability to say no. And now that causes me to look at them differently. I'm not saying they can't grow out of that. I probably have been like that in my past as well. But I had to grow out of that. I had to become a fucking man. That wasn't the man version of me. That was not. So now I had to take a look internally. How can I become better? How can I get 1% better? Where is something that I can control, where I can focus on, and I can learn how to improve so that other people can look at me as a man, wholeheartedly in real life, not on social media. What is it that you're dealing with right now? You keep procrastinating. You keep putting it off. Keep making excuses on why it doesn't have to happen. You're making this stuff up. You're literally robbing your own self of manhood. Because the real ones, the real motherfuckers that are out here, they notice that shit. I talked about it at the retreat, this last retreat. We got multiple guys in Uncaged that do $100 million a year in their organizations. And it's wild for me to see them giving out as much advice as they do. All the way from super high-level tax strategy stuff, all the way down to very simple stuff, how to get an LLC, and everything in between. And I had to stop everything and had to point something out, the fact that these guys do this only to the ones that actually follow through. The moment you stop, that flow of knowledge ceases to continue. How detrimental is that for you? To have these guys that have been through what you've been through, that got the fucking t-shirts, that know the way, that have the cheat codes, that have been down that path, that can turn around and shine a light on it for you. But because you weren't man enough to follow through with the things that you said that you were or would do, turn the light off. They shut the cheat codes down. They gave up on you. Because they don't have to do that. The world really doesn't have to do this. It chooses to. And it continues to pour into the ones that are willing to soak it up. The moment that you stop, the moment that you stop learning from these people, the moment that you start showing the initiative to become a better version of yourself, it's over. And everyone fucking sees it. That mask comes off. That costume comes off. And everyone sees you for who you really are. It's just a miserable, lonely, old piece of shit that can't even hold true to himself. Can't even hold true to his own fucking words. If you can't believe in yourself, why would you think anyone else could believe in you? So, like, again, if you're still listening to this, because I know this has been beating a dead horse, but this has been something that I've seen over and over and over, and it's unfortunate. And I'm blessed enough to surround myself with like-minded men that, albeit, again, myself, I wasn't a fucking man when I first started down the personal development route, but I wanted it. I could fucking taste it. I could dream about what that version of Zack Williams looks like. And it just gets better and better and better the more I envision it. Even now, I mean, it's been years that I've gone down this journey and I've grown so much. God, I've grown so much. And I see how far I've gotten from where I was in just only a few short years. And so then, like, man, I can't, the compounding effect of becoming 1% better daily, looking into the future, I get so excited to think about what kind of a fucking man I'm going to be in the same amount of time. I've been down this journey for, 5 or 6 years. And it's like, dude, when I look into the future for 5 or 6 years, again, looking at compounding interest, because it just gets bigger and better and more incredible. I'm like, fuck, dude, like, this is really, like, motivating. This is very inspiring to see. It's like, all right, cool. I see this version of myself 5 years down the road. I want to beat that guy. Like, I want to be more healthy than him. I want to be wealthier than he does. And if you're in Uncaged, you understand, how we view wealth. It's not just money, but, I want to be healthier than he does. He is. This version of myself, he's already written in stone somewhere. Like, there is a few, the actions that I'm taking today, that motherfucker is there. He's waiting on me, right? It's up to me to show up. So I'm going to show up to that motherfucker and I'm going to pass the baton. I'm either going to be a lesser version than could have been, or I can stick to the grindstone and be that fucking version of myself 5 years from now, taking that compounding interest, 1% better daily, 1% better daily, 1% better daily, healthier, wealthier, stronger relationships, making more money, saving more time. Focus on things that I really give a fuck about, really care about. That's that version of myself that I'm paying attention to. I say it all the time inside of Uncaged. Like, I'm in competition with no man. There's two men that I'm in competition with. Let me rephrase. Yesterday's version of myself, trying to show that motherfucker who I am, and tomorrow's version of myself. Trying to show the fuck out for that one too. So I'm just competing about yesterday's version of myself, tomorrow's version of myself. No one else. But I've got to carry the baton. I've got to keep going. I have to keep focused on 1% better daily to be a man for myself, because I can't be a man to Heather until I'm a man for myself. I can't be a man to Lottie until I'm a man to Heather. I can't be a man to any of the guys in Uncaged until I'm a man to Lottie and Heather. It all starts with you, bro. It all starts with you. What the fuck are you thinking about right now that is going on in your life that you could be fucking doing better? That you know that you aren't controlling the controllables. Or maybe you're too worried about the uncontrollables and you're not focused on what you can control. What is that? You're thinking about something fucking right now. Go fucking fix it. Go get better. Steal Heather's hashtag, do fucking better. Do fucking better. Be a fucking better man. Because that's the only thing that's going to change this world. It's more men like you and I coming together, putting our heads together to say, bro, you could be doing this better. You could be better at this. And I need you to say the same to me. Zach, fuck, dog, love what you're doing. You could be better. Man, I'm happy that you're excited about this, but you could be doing better. How can we be better? How can we be manlier men? Again, it's not an alpha male fucking, I don't give a fuck about that shit. I give a fuck about this. How do I show up for myself, my family, and my friends? That's what you should be worried about. So what can you be doing to do better? Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope this meant something to you. If you did, please tag someone that you think needs to hear it. Share it with someone that you think needs to hear it. Let's get this message out here. Let's get this movement going. Uncaged it's moving. And it's up to us to keep steering that ship and keep pushing it along. So thank you guys so much. As you know, this is the Uncaged Podcast. This is all about the journey to the top 1% and how do we get there. It's about becoming 1% better daily. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you want any information or have any considerations about joining Uncaged, hit the link in the bio, uncagedcrew.com, and we'll get you connected. Talk soon.